Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another great day at Sport Beach, and welcome to a great collection of leaders, world-class athletes, world-class brand leaders and platform leaders that are opening up the worlds of fandom and audiences around the world. So what have we got here? Fans, flags, and 4 years to go. So flag football, for those of you who don't know, one of the fastest growing sports in the Americas and beyond. Over 1 million young people playing today, and over 75,000 federations, and as David said, entering the Olympic community in 2028. Diana, welcome. We're delighted to have you here. You've come off the crossette from carrying the Olympic torch, and very happy you're here. Diana, from your perspective, do help us understand the experience of the growth that you've experienced over the last 4 or 5 years, but also what the next 4 years could mean for the sport, what it will mean for you.
Wow, well, first of all, it is amazing to see where the sport it is right now and the amazing growth it has had in the past years. Right now, we are more than 20 million players in more than 100 countries all over the world globe. This is one of the fastest growing sports, as you said, and just to see how we continue opening doors and having opportunities like today, being part of the Olympic torch relay, representing the sport we love, it is a dream come true for all the flag football community worldwide. I think that this is not a coincidence. I think that all the efforts that amazing people like behind the scenes, IFAF, International American Football Federation, NFL are doing for paving the way for the next generations, it's crucial and it is very important. The inclusivity that this sports allows, it is, I think, the game-changing factor here. The fact that anybody can play it, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, girls, boys, from 6 years old to adults leagues. That's what makes the sport so accessible and also affordable.
It's interesting, I'll just build on that. The Olympic Committee do seem to be opening up to supposedly niche sports, but of course the fast growing sports that are attracting young people, breakdancing, rock climbing, and of course flag football. That's obviously a positive sign for you. Is that them opening their eyes and seeing there's a really important new dynamic to bring into the Olympic story?
For sure. All those qualities, I think, were the ones that brought flag football into this amazing platform to become an Olympic sport. Because I think, again, it is the perfect sport to engage the new generations, the Generation Z, which are more dynamic, which ones change like every minute. Things are changing, which are connected all the time. Flag football has it all. I mean, it is a creative sport, it is a fast sport, it is a dynamic sport, it is all about teamwork, it is all about inclusion and creativity. And those are the main characteristics that the Olympic Committee were looking for the inclusion for the next sports.
Fantastic. And if I could pass over to our brand leaders here, Emmakate, welcome. Marianne, thank you for coming. You know, Delta, a massive affiliation with Team USA, Visa, an embedded partnership with the Olympic story. What is you've got a 4-year marathon or sprint, I'm not sure, I suspect both, to plan, to execute, to contribute. What are some of the principles that you're applying to your teams, to your strategies? How do you want to show up? You know, what do you want to take from this? What do you want to give to this? And how do you want to bring new fans into the Olympic story?
For us, it's all about our people. We pride ourselves on the Delta difference and the service that we bring, and so we want to help LA 28 with the volunteer program, with the training that we have to bring that level of elevated care and service to the games. So while LA is 4 years away and Paris is 5 weeks away, operationally, we're still very focused on Paris. There's trials this weekend, last weekend. We're taking 3,000 people over from Team USA, and a lot of them we don't know their names yet because they haven't qualified. So it's a very exciting logistical challenge that our people love to solve and solve every day, but this one we're particularly proud of. So we kind of are living in two worlds, the operational world of what we're going to do this summer to get everyone to the games, and then also the longer road of how we can impact the games in 20.
Real tangible enablement in many ways.
Yes. Literally getting them to the games.
Absolutely. And Marianne, I can only imagine the amount of effort. It's a massive investment. It's a massive commitment. It's a must-win in many respects, not to pile on the pressure. What is your the principles you're bringing to bear. How do you want to show up as Visa? What's the
Yeah,
role you'll play?
It's a little hard to believe that we're kicking off LA when we still have to get through Paris in 5 weeks, and we're not quite done with planning for that as well. We're also Visa is also a FIFA sponsor, as well as the U.S. national team, the Canada national team, and the Mexico national team. So then we have FIFA World Cup in 26 before we even get to LA 28. But one of the things that we really focus on in everything that we do, and we've been an Olympic sponsor for almost 40 years. We extended our contract. The last time we extended our contract, NBC extended their contract as well. So we're very partnered with NBC. So when there are things there's opportunities, like I'm so excited to bring flag football as a new sport. I was just saying, are there any plans to really start to promote it as part of Paris? As an example, we partnered with NBC around surfing because obviously there's nowhere to surf in Paris. So the surfing's actually happening in Tahiti. So we did a program called Road to Tahiti, which was really about picking an on-the-ground broadcaster or creator to actually be the voice to promote it. So it was all of these different creator influencers who had to submit, and then were selected, and we announced that on the Today Show. So we really want to bring the power of the new sports or sports that need to be elevated to fans. There's also such an opportunity for us. What we focus on is the community around where the Olympics are happening. So as we were, just talking about in the back, kind of the Taylor Swift effect for the NFL. Think about, or the Taylor Swift effect of where she's coming to communities and lifting up the economies. So as we think about the Olympics coming to LA, it's such an opportunity to really uplift the small businesses around that, to focus on, the entire ecosystem. We're a B2B and a B2B and a B2C and a B2B2C brand. So we work with our clients to pass through the access to them, for them to bring it to their customers, to do client entertainment, to really be on the ground and bringing the sports to life, as well as a, big advertising component to it. And really happy as also a sponsor of the NFL to now be sponsoring the NFL flag championships. So really, as was mentioned, that we're bringing, NFL is helping to bring flag football to the forefront. So, girl power coming to football. I love it. So excited to be working on that as well.
Here. Very good. I mean, look, it does feel like brands, if done right, have a massive role to play in. You talk about economic development of a region, like for example, LA, but also bringing communities, bringing new audiences into sport through advertising dollars and experiences. In order to reach those groups, I'm looking at Trish and looking at you, Rob. You're a doorway to audiences globally at the trade desk at LoopMe. How are you thinking about how you're going to support these brands? How are you thinking about how you're going to develop and innovate over the next 2 to 4, maybe not the full 4, in terms of connecting with those audiences, measuring the success of those connections, and how you're going to support agencies and brands in what is going to be a crucial build-up, a really big moment for those businesses?
Well, if today didn't say it all with the torch coming down the
Absolutely.
The main street here, that sports is so engaging, and the fan base and the audience is unbelievably engaging, and so to be able to reach that audience, it's getting even easier as it relates to the biggest sporting event in the world, that being the Olympics. And we think about how the shift of the audience from linear to these digital streaming platforms, it has forced all of the rights holders to think about how do they present sports in a different way, where I think sports over the life of it had always lived on a linear platform. Now all of a sudden there is a digital streaming component. And as it relates to that, NBC just recently announced that they will, for the first time ever, offer the Olympics programmatically in a partnership with the trade desk. And we could not be more excited about that. I could not be more excited about that because I've spent my career in sports, and when I think about my last stop at NBC for nearly 8 years. And when I left, I thought I would never touch the Olympics again. And now we're in this partnership. And so it's near and dear to my heart. But what it really means to you and to advertisers is that you're going to have to rethink about how you, plan your buys, because Peacock is going to have more hours of content than NBC, the broadcast network, or their cable networks, or any of those networks combined. And so you're going to have to even have a CTV strategy that maybe you hadn't thought about. And so programmatically, you can use data on top of those buys to, incrementally reach new audiences that you might not have been able to do, and do it a lot more precisely. And so whether you're, Visa and you want to follow the dots and connect the audience through, whether it's from an audio or mobile or CTV buy, you can do that. Or whether it's, Visa and you want to retarget and talk to a recent purchaser of a ticket to the games, you can serve them a relevant ad, and that consumer experience is going to be far more better for them, right, and all of us. And so I think it's incredible. I think it's super awesome for Delta and for Visa. But I think equally important, it is incredibly awesome for every other brand out there who probably has never had the opportunity to be a part of the Olympics because the price of entry was a little bit too high. And that's a game-changing kind of a moment. And the Trade Desk couldn't be prouder to be a part of that game-changing moment.
Well, and Deanna's talked about inclusivity. I mean, Rob, I'm just going to pass to you. There's no shortage of content, and there's no shortage of environments to place that content. Measurement, successful management, accurate measurement. I know you've done some research around audiences and their enthusiasm for the games and the different areas of emergent sports, which are really bringing new young audiences into the Olympic story. Talk to us a bit about LoopMe and what you've been doing there, and your plan in terms of how you're helping marketers make every dollar count.
Sure. Absolutely. What we're most excited about when we think about the opportunity to connect audiences with the Olympics content is really connecting brands to really engaged audiences, especially when we think about the upcoming years and new events. You referenced research we did with our brand new audience and measurement platform. And what we learned was that over a third of those who are going to watch the Olympics this year are really excited about new sports. And a quarter of those said flag football is what they're most excited about. Another quarter said breakdancing, which is making its premiere here at Paris this year. So when we think 4 years out and we start to think, who are those most engaged audience? Who are the folks that we want to start to build that momentum with? Understanding data, understanding brand sentiment, understanding fandom, as we talked about earlier, all are ways that brands can start to engage now for those future events, but also reach the people who are going to be most excited for these upcoming Olympics as well.
Fantastic. Deanna, I'm going to turn it back to you. I saw you earlier when we said hello to each other. You were talking to your fans on your phone whilst holding the Olympic torch. The social world has given you a direct line, has given you access to your core and also access to their friends and family and so on and so forth. But of course, we're sitting here with two brand owners who have global reach, significant budgets, but also an agenda to engage customers in a really productive way, a positive way, and a positive transaction and value exchange. How do you think about you personally engaging with brands? What do you look for? What's the opportunity for you personally and also for the growth of the sport?
I think one of the most amazing aspects of sports is that sports has a power of break barriers, any kind, like cultural barriers, gender barriers. It has a power of connecting people, and it brings a message of unity, like in whatever context you want to put it, whenever, wherever. So for me, that has been game changing to understand that sport is more than a game. sport goes beyond the field. It is about advocating for what you believe, advocating for your community, in my case, Latino community, advocating for women empowerment, advocating for equal opportunities. And I think when brands and athletes connect in those beliefs, connect in that same mission, amazing things can happen, because that's when you spread one same message, a message of, at the end of the day, making a change. And you do that by connecting with your athletes' beliefs. You do that by connecting with certain activities with a purpose, right? So I feel that's one of the most important aspects at the end of the day, to know that we are speaking to people that sometimes are seeking to feel seen and heard. And if we give them the opportunity and the platforms to feel seen and heard, that only can change their lives. So for me, that's the most important and magical thing about sports, and this connection that brands and athletes can make. It's in order to make a change out there beyond the field.
That's totally, that's worth a round of applause, I think, actually. Yeah. That's an absolutely totally amazing statement. Thank you. And correspondingly, I have to talk, and ask you, Marianne, and then Emmakate. There's such integrity behind that sentiment. There's huge opportunity and value in that if you can match that integrity, can match that agenda. The role of athletes, the role of sport, but also athletes and personalities. Diana bringing a whole story there about how she's going to help empower a whole new generation of players. How do you think about athletes and how they can add value to your brands and your brand story, Marianne?
Yeah, actually, that's at the heart of what we do with our Olympic sponsorship. It's about the athletes. So we created Team Visa, I think, 20 or so years ago. We were the first brand to then sponsor the Paralympics. So we now make sure that across athletes, we're 50-50 men, male, female, and we're 50-50 Olympics, Paralympics, because we're trying to uplift Paralympics as well. But as part of Team Visa, the athletes become a part of the Visa family. We have a Team Visa Summit. We bring all the athletes in. We actually teach those who don't know how to do social media, and obviously Diana already does, but teach them how to actually promote themselves through social media. We film them and we leverage our social media channels and our paid channels to promote the athletes, because it's really it's promoting the athletes, it's promoting the sport that is really at the heart of what we're doing. Because if we can help to create that real mission of, it's about our overall brand mission is uplift everyone everywhere by being the best way to pay and be paid, but it's about the small helping with the small steps in your journey. And that journey could be in sports and bringing a new sport to the Olympics, and really showing the journey of the athletes, because it's about the storytelling of the athletes. And it's very much what we do with NBC and with our partners, because that's a lot of what creates the fandom. Knowing, we were just talking in the back with Diana about how did she get into flag football, and that's what we hear from fans and consumers. Those are the stories that they like to tell, they like to hear. So that's the stories we like to tell.
Absolutely. Emmakate, your view.
Yeah, so when she was describing sport, I was thinking she's also describing travel. Breaking barriers, connecting cultures, getting people out into the world and creating opportunities. So for us at Delta, it's a no-brainer to be connected with sports. Our tagline is keep climbing, and it's all about continuous improvement and getting better than you were the day before, and kind of competing against yourself to reach your potential, whatever that potential may be, when it's all relative. So when we are working with athletes, we're very, very particular about who we work with. You mentioned it's a value exchange earlier. It's never a transaction for us. It's always who is going to represent Delta and represent the values that we share with them and with our consumers the best. And so we do extensive research into picking our Team Delta. We also have a Team Delta. We do Delta Days. We really want them to live the brand and be a believer in it far beyond their fame and notoriety. And you'll often see us partner with emerging sports or with athletes that are at the beginning of their climb, because we want to support them along the way and connecting them to reach their potential.
I'm thoughtful of that, and something you said earlier, Diana. And if you don't mind, I'm going a little off script. I suspect it was perhaps simpler a few years ago being an international sports star, perhaps demanding, difficult. But now I sort of look at you this morning, I look at some of the duties you've been performing today, like in service to the sport, in service to your plan to promote this sport and to grow it. If you're willing, I'd love to understand how you think about that, because you've got to think about performing on the pitch, you've got to think about maintaining standards and get into a gold medal position in 4 years' time, but you've also got all this to deal with. Like, how do you think about that? How do you find it?
Well, for me, I think, yes, it is a challenge sometimes, but also for me, it's the biggest blessing to be able to give back to the sport I love, not only as a player on the field representing my country, preparing for the World Cup, for the Olympic Games, which is the biggest dream, the ultimate dream, right? But also to give back off the field, like maybe paving the way for the next generations, maybe helping to open more opportunities, maybe helping creating consciousness about the importance of building those opportunities for the next generations. I think it is all part of the same thing, all part of the biggest movement of change, and just to be able to be part of this change right now, an amazing moment that we're living with women in sports worldwide, where we're finally getting where we have deserved to be for a long time, where we're finally having the platforms, we're finally having the voice, and it's just the beginning. I truly believe that we still have a lot to do on that matter, but it is amazing to see like where we are today. So I take it like that duty as with good responsibility, and at the same time with a lot of passion, because it is amazing to get to connect with amazing people through the journey who have the same vision that this sport can change many people's lives, not only through the game, but also by the storytelling that you mentioned before. I think that's a very powerful tool that maybe all of us have to use more, not only as big brands, but also as athletes, as professionists, because we all have a journey. We all come from struggles, from different situations in life that can be an inspiration for others out there, that can make or help other people to feel related with and be just that motivation they need to pursue their dreams or just to follow their passions. So that's the biggest part of this, and I just take it as a blessing.
Amazing. And coming to sort of closing remarks, Rob and Trish, perhaps not with the Olympics as a goal line over the next 4 years, but it's also a complex market. It's also a complex ecosystem. There's a lot of dynamism all the time, and you're both respectively at the forefront of that. If you can distill it, 2 or 3 of your areas of focus for the next 2 to 3 years in terms of what you're going to bring to agencies, what you're going to bring to brands, and how you're going to bring that into the market, and what's going to be an amazing arc, actually. We've got the American elections, UK elections, which will be a big investment period, and then also following it through to these big global moments, these big global flagpoles. Talk to us about your areas of focus. And
Yeah, I think thinking ahead and just thinking about how media continues to fragment, and even the way people are going to consume the Olympics this year compared to in 4 years from now is going to change dramatically. So we talked about audiences, but we also, a big focus for us is thinking about how do you measure it, specifically about brand measurement. When companies like these are investing so much dollars, it's about, sponsorship. And measuring that has very long effects and really important things. In our recent research, I mentioned 80% of respondents said that they recognize the brands that sponsor the Olympics. So the question for me after that is, okay, well, where are the most important touch points for that? Sure. Is it on TikTok or Instagram? Is it still on linear TV, or is it going to be through some of the other ways that people, the metaverse, and all of the things that I expect we're going to have in the future? So for us,
very good.
Reaching the audiences, measuring those effects, and then learning from that and continuing to, make that loop go around.
Trish?
I mean, I would play on what Rob said, that I love that everybody talked about an audience discussion versus anything else in the past where, particularly the Olympics and sports and linear television as a whole has always been about audience or about demo and age. And so we will continue to preach the word of, when you think about all the people that you're trying to talk to, that's exactly why a programmatic offering and the ability to lay data onto all these media buys to be able to actually talk to the right audience at the right time. And we will continue to do that one day at a time. We're going to get through the Paris Olympics first, and then we hope that we are a part of LA 2028 as well, and then beyond to 32.
Very good. Emmakate, it's 4 years' time. You are breathing deeply. What have you achieved? You know, what does success look like for a successful Olympic project for you? You'll be ramping up. You've got 5 weeks until the big event, I know. Once you get past that, once you see that through, what does a successful Olympic moment feel like? What have you achieved when you look back on the LA Olympics?
I think attendees feel the Delta difference in the volunteers and in the program itself and in their interactions. And then they also feel the Delta brand experientially on the ground in physical spaces in a way that they never have before.
Yeah. And Marianne, your 4-year sprint, how do you feel? What have you done? What does success look like for you?
It's very similar to what Emmakate just said. I mean, it's about both it's about our clients, that they feel the value that we're bringing the athletes that we're bringing to them, the stories that we're bringing to them, that we're helping to promote the Olympic brand, and that the affiliation with the Olympic brand and the athletes that we choose to be a part of Team Visa is connecting us, particularly to the younger consumers, getting them excited about these new sports that then connect them to our brands, because they see that we are trying to uplift the athletes and uplift the new sports. So, really living our brand and bring it on the ground as well as through our advertising.
Understood. And Diana, it's obviously appropriate that we give you the final word. You've got an amazing 4 years ahead of you. I wish you all the best. You're looking back, I'm sure you'll be wearing some silverware. Beyond that, what are you hoping to look back on in terms of how the sport has developed, how flag football has developed? What's happened between now and then that would make you feel like it was a successful journey from here to there?
That's an interesting question because on one hand, I know that this sport is going to keep growing so fast worldwide. It's going to open more and more opportunities for boys and girls. It's becoming a essential sport in more states in the United States and worldwide. The opportunities are there. I would like to see more investment in the sport, more investment in the athletes, more interest for storytelling, for telling the stories of many athletes out there, different countries, different journeys, because I feel that it is important. It is important. Representation matters. I mean, representation is life-changing. I would like to see more platforms not only to tell the stories, but also for opportunities for those girls to shine and dream bigger than ever. Because it doesn't matter what we do on the grassroots. I mean, it matters, but if we don't build that path for them to dream big, and hopefully soon we can make a living from this. Flag football is not a professional sport yet, so in the next years, I'm hoping and I'm willing to help build this professional flag football league. So one day, women like me can make a living from the sport we love.
That's a beautiful sentiment to finish. I have no doubt you'll achieve that, and I won't get in the way of that lovely last comment. So thank you to all our panelists. Thank you to all of you. I believe the bar is open. Thank you for taking your time today. It's been great being able to speak to you today. Thanks very much, everybody.